Uncle Ebo White.
How about you, say Batakari? Oh, you're looking good in it. You're looking very good in it.
Yes, today I decided to wear Batakari. I did it for you.
Yeah. I'm happy. No, I appreciate it.
Great.
And it looks very good on you.
Thank you.
I understand today is Dennis's birthday.
Yes, Dennis the fair boy.
Yes, Dennis. I owe Dennis so much because he makes it possible for me to keep my place on the Super Morning Show.
Sure.
So Dennis, happy birthday. I am so grateful to you. But I am postponing your birthday to next week. So next week, I'll bring you a surprise.
Very important. And Aaron should note that it is not his birthday. So he shouldn't be making any gestures. I haven't seen.
Let me just say good morning to him. And talking about birthday, today is also the birthday for a special lady, Reverend Mrs. Comfort Tutu.
Okay.
Of the EP Church, wonderful woman of God. Today is her birthday. And today, Roverman is giving our patrons a special treat. Okay. And so, together with GHQR, we are offering our ticket for 80 cedis instead of 100 cedis for today only. Listen, for today only. Those who want the tickets can get it for 80 cedis today. The offer lasts till 5 p.m. today. So visit our social media handles. That's Uncle Ebo White on Facebook and Twitter, and the Uncle Ebo White on Instagram to get details on how to purchase the discounted tickets on GHQR.
Sure.
Winston, this morning I want to end my reflections on remembering my father on Father's Day by telling you about the day my father caught him cheating on her. I was about 8 when this happened. Winston, have you been caught before?
Caught doing what, Uncle?
Go with you. I have mentioned that my father kept 2 homes. One at Fantini Town, which was more of a family house for his extended family from Takwa, and the other at Sasson Treso. Until he took a second wife, he lived by himself at Fantini Town and kept us, that is, his wife and children, at the Sasson Treso home. Now, the usual arrangement was that he would either come to South or my mother would go to him at Fantini Town. If my mother intended to go to him at Fantini Town, she always set off around 5 p.m. because she took his supper along with her.
Okay.
But on this day, there was no indication that he was coming to South or that my mother was going to Fantini Town. So we went to sleep at about 8 p.m. Remember, those were the days before television. And so there was not much to keep people awake in the evenings. So people tended to sleep rather early in those days. At about 9 p.m., my mother woke me up and said, "Kobina, come with me. We are going to your father."
Hey.
Hearing that we're going to my father woke me up fully. I could not wait to be with him. I loved him. And so any opportunity to be in his presence was fun for me. So I quickly dressed up and set off with my mother for Fantini Town. The excitement of seeing him kept sleep away for me. Now, in those days, South Central went dead by 8 p.m. All commercial vehicles, including taxis, stopped working. So getting out of South at 9 p.m. without your own car was a mission impossible. But on this day, Winston, we were fortunate to meet a taxi that had just come to drop someone and was returning to town empty.
Okay.
In another 15 minutes, we were at Fantini Town. My father's door was shut and his lights were off, which was not surprising considering the time. He usually slept early. My mother knocked at the door and I heard my father's voice ask, "Who is it?" Winston, trust me, the last voice he was expecting to respond to that was the voice that responded. My mother said, "It's me." Oyame. And there was silence for some minutes. And then I heard him frantically whispering within. My mother waited patiently. After eternity, I heard the sound of the key turning slowly in the lock. Then the door opened halfway, and he stood in the doorway. My mother attempted to enter, but my father, who was much taller and bigger than my mother, had filled the doorway, and she could not find a way to go past him. So she said, "Oh, give me a way to enter." My father said, "Ama, I beg you, the power chow." My mother said calmly, "You beg me for what?" But he just kept repeating, "Ama, I beg you." My mother said, "Okay, I hear, but can I come in?" Just about that time, I saw a figure of a woman cowering behind my father. You see, my mother had a reputation from Kumasi Central Market that she fought men and beat them. And so a woman was no match for her, would be mincemeat for her. My father kept his body in the doorway. And then when he was sure that the woman was right behind him, he made himself a revolving door so that as my mother entered, the other woman exited. As soon as she made it out of the door, the other woman took off at a pace that would have left Usain Bolt behind. There were a number of steps that led from the street to my father's veranda, but this woman had no time to descend them. She jumped them and fled into the night. With the woman safely out of reach, my father stopped blocking my mother, and he kept repeating, as if in a loop, "Ama epacho, ama epacho." My mother was calm. She just took off the sheets on the bed and put on fresh ones. Again, I was too young to fully understand what was going on, but I had seen my father and I was happy. And so I went to sleep. Early the next morning, my mother woke me up to get ready to return to South. She was still calm. But I noticed that my father was a mess. He was fixing himself his usual breakfast of coffee and bread with butter. But Winston, he was struggling to keep his hands steady enough to cut the bread. Finally, he gave up trying to cut the bread and went on his knees before my mother and said, "Ama, please forgive me. I promise you that this will never happen again." My mother, still calm, said, "Marty." And then we left. You know that other woman who it turned out lived in the neighborhood, shocked that my mother did not tear her into pieces, made herself a vigilante for my mother. Whenever she saw my father talking with another woman, she would walk to the woman and say, "Hey, look, he's a married man, and his wife is my sister, so get lost."
Hey.
Looking back on this incident now as an adult, I understand perfectly what was going on with my father and mother. But I have only one comment to make on the story. Winston, it sucks to be caught. Now, to all fathers out there, I say to you from the depths of my heart, happy Father's Day to you in advance. Just remember that your influence on your children, for better or for worse, never ends. And this has been me, Uncle White, remembering my father, flaws and all. He was still my father, and I loved him. And if you want to follow me beyond this presentation, please join me on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Uncle White, and on Instagram at the Uncle White. And remember, today, between now and 5 p.m., you can get my ticket at 80 cedis instead of 100 at GHQR. Just visit our social media network, and you'll be sorted out. Winston, thank you very much, and enjoy the weekend.
Thank you very much, Uncle, and enjoy your weekend too. But let me remind you that Roverman Productions, in partnership with the National Theatre and Joy FM, presents an exciting original Ebo White play for Q2, I Slept With Your Wife, at the National Theatre, Accra, on the 25th and 26th of June and the 2nd and 3rd of July 2022. It's 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. It will be the best of Uncle Ebo's plays ever.